versus the women.
So our thesis was that how social media will affect development and self-esteem of young girls.
By a show of hands, how many of you have been affected by social media?
So whether you raise your hand or not, it is scientifically proven that women have been affected negatively since the 1800s. But it always hasn't been from social media. It's things like statues, weightlifting competitions, and beauty pageants. And as you can see, the difference, this one's rather tall and slim, while this one's curvy. So it's pretty obvious the difference in how we've developed. So unfortunately, there's always been an average weight, and from 1800s to the 1980s, it's been 145 pounds. While from the 1900s to present, it's 165 pounds, and you may be thinking that it's not much of a difference, but trying to maintain that weight when society constantly wants something different from you is going to be difficult. So what this picture is showing is basically how the body has developed over time and how it's always been seen as average, and unfortunately these women aren't doing it for all the right reasons.
As Cassidy said, women are changing and not necessarily for the better. Women are developing lower self-esteem. The number one thing that impacts how women feel about their bodies is social media, with TVs and movies as a close second because of ads. 80% of women that see other women in fashion magazines and movies say that they feel insecure afterwards, and 42% of first through third graders want to be skinnier. 81% of 10-year-olds are afraid of being fat, and the largest group of insecure women is teenagers, because over half want to be on a diet or are on a diet, but 3% take it too far and become anorexic or bulimic. When women were asked if they compared their body to images they see in the media, 87.73% said yes. More specifically, Fitspiration posts. When women were asked if they compared their bodies to Fitspiration posts, 71.22% said yes. Fitspiration posts are meant to inspire people to be healthier, but it can actually lead to unhealthy overeating. Going back to adolescents, when they were asked how media impacted their body and self-esteem, barely 1% said positively, while a large 71% said negatively. So as you can see, social media is impacting all ages of women and not for the better.
Relating back to what Jamie said, we can obviously tell that women are affected more mentally than ethically. And 6% of women are happy with their body types, which leaves 94% of women unhappy, which is almost the whole population, and we can only blame social media for this. This is the Rosenberg Body Esteem Scale, and it was used by scientists to see how women are affected by social media. Sure enough, the results showed that the media causes low self-esteem problems. And this is the scale of the 6% of women and how they keep their self-esteem up. This is a scale based on women in Ohio, and as we can tell, the esteem levels go down during the summer and they go up during the winter. And as we all know, women post bikini pictures more in the summer, so they make women feel more insecure, and in the winter more women are covered up, so it makes them feel okay. And as Jamie said, Fitspiration has a more negative effect than positive effect on women, because as it inspires people to get fit, it's getting fit in a healthy way. So as you can see, the negative effect is 0.147 compared to the positive effect, which is 0.094.
Okay, so now this is futuristic, and the goal was to find out how social media will affect girl self-esteem and development for the future. And what I found out was that in 2003, 66,142 surgeries were done on females ages 18 and younger. And nowadays, the average is 50,166 because the following phrases that are too skinny, you're unhealthy, your body is unhealthy, or you're too bony, affects young women in a way that they feel like they have to change themselves to fit in with the society, social media's, what is it? The social status of a regular girl. And by doing this, it causes young girls to want plastic surgery more than others, which is kind of a good thing if you want to change yourself for the better. But the problem is you're fixing yourself externally and you're not fixing yourself internally. So you're only pursuing half of your wishes of being a better woman. Now some of you may be wondering, well, you're on social media and there's all types of inspiration on there. And we do have a thing called Fitspiration, as stated earlier by Ava and Jamie. But with Fitspiration, it's meant for people who are already out there and getting in exercise. But for other people, it's a goal that will never be reached because they feel like they're too far behind in society's social standard female. And basically, what I found out was that with the way things are going now in society, the self-esteem and development of young girls are at risk because we're so focused on our phones, and the more and more we get attached to it, the more and more we start to compare ourselves to other females. And with that being said, we always will have the weight on our shoulders that we will never be good enough, we will never be pretty enough, we will never succeed as a woman if we don't look a certain way.
Now, although there may not be like an actual solution for all women to just completely stop judging each other or anything like that, there's recommendations, and one of them is for social media platforms to have more strict ground rules, meaning that like if there's a negative comment or if negativity is common, that there may be things like account suspensions or things like that to avoid any negativity on social media.
So another one is to just move forward. So if you see a post that makes you feel insecure about yourself, just keep scrolling and find something that makes you feel better and less confident.
Another one we had was just to try to ignore the hate and take action. So by that I mean, by ignoring the hate, you just have to keep going and moving forward because you have to love yourself before you let other people love you. And taking action is just what Jamie stated. It's just scrolling down and finding something that makes you feel better.
And the last recommendation we had was to be careful what is posted on social media, and by this we mean like to watch what you post and think before you post, to be like, is this going to affect the mentality of other women, and how is it like uplifting or is it going to put them down?
So with our solutions, there's going to be limitations, and one of them is it's going to be pretty hard for all social medias to just completely suspend accounts if any negativity is common, because as we know, there's negative comments, there's negative posts, things like that. So for them to constantly suspend people, is the likelihood of that is not very high.
And most people like to react on their emotions. So if you see something that's really affecting you and you want to comment on it, it kind of just brings more attention to yourself for people to hate on you more, because it's social media. Everyone's going to have something bad to say about you.
And our last limitation is that someone is always going to be unhappy with the way you look, meaning like you aren't going to be perfect in everybody's eyes. Somebody will think your body type is good, and somebody will think that you're pretty enough, but not everybody's going to think that.
Okay, a couple questions for you. I'm going to start with Diana. In the future, what change would you make to your group norms, and how would you expect that to improve the team presentation?
The changes that I would make is our time management, because we had planned to do our presentation a couple of times during the week and on the weekends, but because of life happens, we didn't get to really do that. And if we really did that for the future, it would probably make our presentation like a lot better as far as movement wise, as far as like memorization and nervousness.
Okay. All right, next is for Ava. What is an example of a compelling argument from one of your peers' individual reports that you decided to exclude from your team presentation, and why?
We left out the religious part of like everything because not everybody can see everything from a religious view because not everybody's going to believe in the same things and not everybody is religious, meaning like somebody's going to believe in like different gods and somebody's going to be different ethnicities, which is different religions and stuff like that.
Okay. Next is for you, Cassidy. How did the group decide to include Jamie's perspective or lens or conclusion into the overall presentation?
Well, hers was social, so it's obviously really important. So with mine, we started with historical because we thought that that was really important to realize how much it's changed over time. And we included hers like in it because when she told me like with the 3%, like with the adolescents and how third graders wanted to be skinnier, we thought that that was really important to add in there, considering that, I mean, it's been happening since the 1800s, and to realize that is really important to understand this topic as a whole.
Good. And finally, Jamie, having finished your project, what, if anything, do you consider to be a gap in your team's research that, if addressed, would make you feel more confident about your conclusion?
Well, I think all of our individual reports came together pretty well. There wasn't like a solid solution that we came up with. Like there were some little things that you could do, like some recommendations, but there was no like huge solution for how women feel after looking at things on social media.
Okay.